live yet.
We're not. Now we're live. Having fun yet?
You guys are killing me.
Killing the Smalls.
This is what happens when I don't come 1 week.
The tech guy takes off.
Yeah. All right. I think we're live.
Hey, earn a $50 US dollar bonus.
We could.
How do we do that?
I don't know. I have to read about it. Episode 86. Yeah, we're live. We got 3 people watching us already.
Yay. I'm sure my mom's on there. No, maybe not. They're in New York.
There's the beeper. Episode 86 with our, I guess, native Carolinian, Lake Wylian, whatever you like to call him, Christian Shota.
We're going to start over.
Why?
Brandon sounds like a nerd.
I always sound like a nerd.
Perfect.
He is the nerd. He is the nerd of the group.
Yeah.
We're gonna try not to go down the nerd train tonight, though.
I'll do my absolute
Do
best.
you know how hard that's going to be?
I know.
Christian and me here tonight?
I know.
Yeah.
Shane and I'll do a breakout room over there for the cool people.
It'll be a good balance.
Okay, so you're calling me a nerd. You just called it a breakout room?
What in the crap is that? Is that something you got to try to figure out how to get out of? Or what is that?
Oh,
See how this always starts? You ever been here at the very beginning?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
a few times.
Okay.
A few times.
well, he hasn't ever been here.
So anyway, the reason
I know what you mean.
the reason we got Christian with us tonight is he's going to stand in as a polygraph man.
Oh, that's right. So we do have to get some stuff prior
You do your thing. I'm gonna.
out of the way before we get, to what happened yesterday.
Oh, man. Okay.
And then we can talk about the Florida fishing stuff since
Okay.
I guess
Your mom is on there.
I guess in about 2 weeks.
I accidentally shared this to SC Reefs.
That's
I
fine.
don't know.
To where?
That's one of my coral pages.
His coral pages.
And then we'll start talking about Florida stuff.
Yeah,
because
That's cool.
a couple weeks, I guess the Opens and the Elites and everybody are going to be down there.
The whole shooting match is going to be there.
As always.
It's going to be a rough couple weeks in January for Florida.
I just wish they'd wait and go a little bit later.
That's what I'm saying. But we'll get into that stuff.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
Or why don't they go around Thanksgiving? Like,
Now we're really talking.
Hey, your mom's on here too.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Mom. And shout out to my sisters in town, Danielle, and then her boyfriend, Alex. Which, by the way, Alex and I just went 2-0 in cards, and then I had to leave to come here. So
Yeah. What were y'all playing?
we're about to make it 3-0 when I
Rummy?
go back. No, what was it? Sequins.
See, I never
What
heard
the
of
heck
it.
is that?
It's just trust me.
It's a nerd
it's
game.
It's a nerd game, but it's pretty
God.
intense.
It's a nerd game.
It's actually really hard. It'll make you go crazy playing it. So luckily, I'm already crazy. So
All right, so what's Christian polygraphing for?
Because rumor has it that everybody knows that we had a 1v1 at Moss Lake the other day, David and myself.
Last week. right, last
Allegedly, David beat me. Allegedly. It has been brought to my attention that there was some, how would you want to say it? Mischief be a good word?
Thursday. Mischief.
Would that be a good word?
David's not ever involved in any mischief.
I think mischief would be a good word because you don't want to really say nothing bad to get it blown out of proportion.
Did David get an unfair advantage, maybe?
I think David may have gotten an unfair advantage.
I have
maybe
no unfair
two,
advantage.
if you want to get right down to
Todd just said he won.
it. Maybe 2. Todd won because he had the most bear claws.
No, he didn't eat a bear claw one.
Yeah, yes, he did because I gave him one.
Oh, okay, he may have eaten one. He did not have. He had all my Cheetos though.
I talked to Todd today, and he said he had to cut himself back to 3 bear claws a day. He said he's gaining too much weight.
He started the day on a diet. He called me. Said I ate 3 sausage and egg biscuits, and I got 3 biscuits left.
Hey,
By the end of the day,
would it be
that was
wrong if
over
I
with.
shared it to that page?
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
What page?
so it was just a 1v1.
Yeah, it was 1v1, so it was David versus Shane. But apparently Todd, it went from Todd caught one of David's fish that he weighed to 4 of them.
Well,
So we don't know which is true.
I can tell you this for fact.
But he did weigh.
Hang on a
He did
second.
weigh one of Todd's fish.
I can tell you this for fact. Todd did not catch 4 fish. Period. Didn't catch 4 fish on Wiley either. But we're just gonna.
I thought you said this was on Moss.
It was.
It was.
He was there a week prior on Wiley.
He was David's camera guy at Moss.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So what it gets down to is, so what was the final weight total?
I don't.
He had 1144. I had 1258.
Okay. And one of Todd's fish was a cullfish.
Okay, so the whole story is I'm fishing. 15 minutes left to go. I have a limit for around 12 pounds. I figured I was around 12 pounds. And
Why'd you say you had 9 when you came in then?
That was like
I like
three
low
had
ball.
pound and a halfers yesterday.
Yeah.
And they really had 4 for 10.
Oh, don't
I like the low ball a little bit.
Do not even do that.
I'm not gonna overshoot it. I mean, I've done that too much.
Yeah,
we all have.
yeah. No, we all like to make sure, just in case we're wrong.
So,
downplay it a little.
Low ball it a little bit, and so I turn around. Todd's like, "I got one." I'm like, "Okay, whatever," because Casey was fishing in the back of Shane's boat. Todd's like, "Man, give me a rod." So he blew up one, blew up another one, finally picked up my A-rig and was fishing. He's like, "I got one." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I'm fishing along, not paying any attention, and I hear kabloosh. What was that? He's like, "Oh, I just called." I'm like, "No, why are you calling?" And the fish,
so it
and
was
the
like
fish
his
was
deal.
like, "Yeah,"
He did it. Okay,
and the fish
okay.
really wasn't
But see,
any benefit.
But see, I'm not buying that.
I-
I'm not
yeah, I
buying
don't
that
know,
at
dude.
all. Not even
I
a
don't
little
know.
bit am I buying that. I just can't do it.
That's hard. It is hard to believe. is all
Hang
I
on
gotta
a second. This is coming from the same guy who brought 9 fish to the scales at Wiley.
Well, that
That
was
he
kind
borrowed.
of that was kind of prearranged.
Again,
So that's just
prearranged.
part of it, though.
I-
Now Todd did call somebody on the water
Yeah, during the tournament.
during the tournament and got places for David to fish.
Is that him right here?
Yeah, it's Todd Hammond.
I mean, I guess it comes down to this. I mean, it's simple, yes or no. I mean, did you weigh a fish that you did not catch?
Well, would you say yes?
I
Come
mean,
on, man.
I'm a pull a Clinton and plead the fifth.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know, man. That might be a forfeit. It might be a
Forfeit,
forfeit.
not even
That's
a
not-
rematch.
It can't be a forfeit. Number one.
I mean,
Number
what
two,
are you gonna do? I mean,
I will say this: legitimately, my fish without that one, I was good. But nobody's there to say.
so you.
I'll leave it up to Shane. Let him choose. If he wants to hash this out on the water again,
Shane,
let's go.
if you're fishing a BFL and you accidentally weigh in one of your co-angler's fish, what happens to you?
Accidentally.
You go.
You don't accidentally in that situation. Number one. Number two, you're in your own live well. Somebody else isn't in your live well, right?
Look, round man speaks. This requires a rematch or a DQ.
Yeah, at the least.
I mean, I'm let Shane handle it how he wants to. I'm good, whatever.
Yeah, he's not shook. He'll run it back.
I mean, obviously. I mean, my thing is, if I lose, man, I've had my butt whipped from Kevin Van Dam to whoever you can think of. They've all whipped my butt. It don't matter. But when I lose, it's a legitimate loss.
Yeah, it's got to be legit.
I
And,
mean,
and
I-
if it's in question, that's enough to run it back.
listen.
In my opinion, if we're questioning it, I mean, you might as well just run it back.
I'm good to run it back. I don't care. I just know this.
This is at Moss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a rematch.
But the good thing about, I mean, in all seriousness, the good thing about it is it was probably the best 1v1 that we've had. It was definitely the closest, and I know there was a lot of fish caught on live because I caught quite a few myself on live. I don't know about him.
No, I caught 2.
From my understanding was he didn't catch but 3 all day.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
mean,
he couldn't go live because Todd was reeling him in.
Well, the camera. That's the next part. Is why was it he running the camera?
He was, but the problem is we're alternating.
How you fishing and
Alternate
running the
one
camera at the
no.
same time? How does that
my
work? I think you need a new cameraman. No offense,
I'm
Tom.
gonna be
No
honest
offense.
with you. The next go around, it is gonna be a different cameraman, just because. I mean, one little infraction that, and then now it gets blown out of proportion.
Todd said rematch after he beat you on baiting.
I'll be honest with you. I almost think that should be Nick's too,
Why?
because
Tater's been in there practicing since y'all announced it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, but hang on a
here's-
second.
yeah,
No,
but-
time out. Before we go any further, though.
here
You
we
guys
go.
are all pulling these rule infractions that I pulled, but I know for a fact that Shane had some information given to him as well.
There was nothing said we couldn't get any information.
Yeah, you said no practice and no information. You
You're
can't
so
call.
drunk.
Now there's a cutoff.
He said you couldn't call and get a whole bunch of help.
Well, that was-
Otherwise, I
that
would have
was-
called some people.
Well, that was after the cutoff date when he already called and asked.
That's right.
When was the cutoff date?
I don't remember.
10 minutes.
But I'm sure it was
10 minutes.
But I'm
after
sure
he
it was
maybe
before
got
the
hung
cutoff.
Hung up the phone.
I can
Oh, yeah.
guarantee you it was before the cutoff.
Look
Without a
here.
doubt.
Yeah.
I learned with Shane a long time ago traveling with him. Did you catch any fish today? Man, I didn't know. I didn't catch a single one. Dang. Man, I can't get any bites either. Say how many bites you get today? Oh, about 20.
Yeah.
Just not using hooks.
Yeah.
That happened to me talking to you once, but it was the opposite. You learned from him, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh gosh.
Wait a minute. You had 18 pounds? I thought you didn't get any bites. Well, I didn't say I didn't get any bites.
Yeah.
I said I didn't catch any.
So I'm supposed to be what, deciding whether or not you're rematching, or
I mean,
was it legit?
Yeah, that's the thing. The problem is that's not even a fair.
We got all kinds of people saying
I mean,
we
it's,
need a
you gotta.
rematch.
I say we just clean slate it, run it back.
I'm good with what I kicked his butt once. I'll do it
We'll let
again.
Shane-
I'm
Randy
not
Hilliard
scared.
said
Because of the
rematch on
disrespect for
CNT.
David for even trying to pull this, you get a 10-minute head start from takeoff or something.
Well, what I thought was really odd is Shane took off and ran straight to a group of fish. There wasn't any looking
told
around.
you
He's got it like that,
But
bro.
I told you I had been there before. I didn't say I had never been there. It's so small.
I've been there twice.
Okay, but that don't mean I didn't know where to go.
He stretched live scope out to 2 miles. He saw him at takeoff.
Yeah,
On
I
trolling
hear,
motor.
I hear you. Me, on the other hand, I took off on my trolling motor and started fishing.
Tim Kelly's on here. He said, all's rematch talk. His guy's beetle spins ready to go.
I know.
We don't know who holds the belt right now, Tim, so. We
The
got
problem
a
is,
rematch.
when are you leaving?
End of January.
End of January.
Yeah, well, there's a whole lot that's got to happen, like on the fly.
Well, you guys will get it on the fly. Stores closed this week for inventory. Says as soon as you get done, you got to fish against Todd.
Where's the rematch going to be? Since
Lake Norman.
okay, I mean he's good for 9 pounds. All I got to do is beat
You
the
got
9
that's
pounds.
exactly right.
There we go.
If you can get the 9.5, you got me.
There you better believe you're gonna have it again.
That's all I
There we
can
go.
catch
All
is
right, we're
9
going to Lake
pounds.
Norman.
It don't matter if you want to catch them on top water or you want to catch them 50 foot deep. I can catch 9 pounds.
No, we ain't going to Norman.
Why not? You can't catch 9 pounds?
I did that.
I don't know.
I did that twice this past week.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you want a rematch? Where are we at here?
I don't know. It don't matter. It really don't matter. I just like giving you a hard time.
I mean, I
don't
said-
care less.
I say you just sign the belt and get it over with and go on to the next
Well, I'm sure
one.
you do, but that probably not gonna happen.
So where is the belt right now?
Hanging
Oh,
above your
behind it,
head.
Yeah, right there.
The other ones are over there.
Y'all,
The other one,
y'all
yeah.
still signing it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever
Okay.
loses has to
Yeah.
sign.
Okay.
That's right.
Maybe I'll come up here and take a shot at it.
Come on.
We'll see. But don't, I mean, worst case snenario, it leaves the state.
Hey, I'll come take it from you
All
somewhere
right.
else.
That would be awesome, actually, if you all came down and did a 1v1 down there.
Tillery. That'd be a good place to
Ew,
go.
what the world? That's like 4 hours from my house. I'd rather go to Florida.
Rematch on Lanier.
Does anyone fish Mountain Island anymore? around
I'm
here?
down. I'm down for Lanier.
Is that? It's never really been relevant to
Because
begin
I can
with.
go ahead and tell you this. My phone, I'm going to make a phone call. We do that crap after what I know now.
I haven't been on Mountain Island in several years. We used to go up there and hide in the summertime. You know that from all the pleasure boaters, but
Yeah.
they've got just as many ramps up the river now as they do anywhere else, and it gets just as crowded as out here now.
Speaking of which, yesterday was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it got kind of stupid at the end of the day.
We went airborne more than once.
Well, I mean, when I saw you guys leave where you were at, I'm like, Brandon's going to be in for a rude awakening when he rounds the corner.
we
Oh,
lived
well.
though. We made it.
After seeing
We
what
land soft in that big boat.
Yeah.
after
Phoenix
seeing
rides
what
nice.
Shane's boat will do, I'm rather impressed.
More
to
than-
say the least.
I had him with me the other day, and we were pushing him for time going back, so I didn't cut it any slack. And I hear, "Oh God, hold on!" Nah, we bounced right on through there.
Yeah, they don't land hard.
No,
No, it wasn't about the land hard. It was just what was coming and what I know could happen, and it hit right. It could have gotten real bad.
Todd says Rule 101 states rematch. Guy protesting gets to pick. I mean, Todd and Joey wrote the rule book technically, so
I don't know. I thought Joey wrote it. I mean,
He
it's
probably
like
did.
looks like Webster's dictionary.
I haven't even seen
The
the
guy
said rule book.
protesting.
I just seen the cover.
Challenge card.
I just seen the cover of it.
That is too funny.
All right, so we're gonna have a rematch, right? Yes.
He's the one crying. I'm good.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Even
make
though
the
I did
call
find
then.
out there was some information
Since I
given.
had Don King the first one, we're gonna have a rematch.
Well, here's the thing about it. Even if I lose, there's going to be a rematch anyway because I'm going to obviously invoke my clause.
That's right. You do get an immediate.
That's right.
Okay. So there's gonna be a rematch.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, Tim. We're gonna have a rematch, and then
Shane invoked his clause.
you will get
That's fine.
you
I
will
don't
get
care.
your shot at the belt.
So Billy said Mountain Island was super clear Sunday morning.
Joey says
Did you catch any? That's what I want to know. Are they biting over there?
Billy J. Terry, Mountain Line was super clear Sunday morning.
I fished that lake maybe 3 times, but all 3 times was really good. But that was,
The hotter,
7,
that,
8 years
that
ago.
was one of the places where the hotter it got, and you get up there and throw a frog. That place was fun. You can catch really big largemouth there, but I have no idea if you can
Where?
still do it on Mountain Island.
I've killed more ducks on Mountain Island than I've ever caught fish.
Really? You used to have grass
They
in
used
it.
to have hydrill in it back in the day. We used to duck in it like crazy over there.
Don't get me started on that.
Florida guys twitching over here now. All right, before we get there, rule meeting Friday night.
I
New
think
Year's Eve.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
You will be after that for
No,
sure.
I don't know that I can make it. My wife already had plans. I wanted to try to go, but I don't know I can pull it off.
All right, so we did have some post-Christmas tournaments to cover. So Lake Norman.
Well, hang on. Before you
Okay,
go any
I'm sorry.
further, I want to nail down this rematch. I mean, this
We got
whole, well, I don't know, ain't going to fly. Like, let's,
No,
if we're going to do it, let's
we're
do
gonna
it.
have one.
We got a rematch.
I thought I was supposed to be the polygraph guy.
Where,
Am I supposed to
when?
am I the judge here? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to know the where and the when.
100% got to do rematch.
Where and the when.
100%.
Tomorrow.
So that's
Be there.
that part is
Not tomorrow.
Nah, there's
I would
about,
like to do a rematch tomorrow.
there's like 5,000 more bags of things to count.
They're not going anywhere.
I know, that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, we need everybody to come buy all this crap so we don't have to count it.
No, store's closed. Unfortunately, we're going to have to count it, boys.
Struggling. Struck out at Monticello Friday as well. Billy J, you need to.
Dude, Dylan Folk is flexing on you guys right now.
Dylan Falk got his nose thrown down here and he's mad.
Dylan Falk is the only guy that called a shot on live. Though. He called a shot because I'm gonna catch one off that dock right there. Says Jeremy didn't caught one. Now
Is that
Grant
the-
was like that big, but he did catch one.
But it did catch one.
He did.
I called our big one yesterday.
You did.
Literally was like, watch this. This is the one. This is the cast.
Kerr Scott's
biggest
out.
fish.
That's too far away.
That's way too far.
I'll say y'all do it Lake Norman. Y'all catch some fish.
No, I don't know. You might in the last 3 hours.
Oh, I can catch them I can catch them all day now. You just got to catch them 50 foot deep.
That's your game, Mr. Deep Man.
I get scared after 30. I'm not going to lie to you.
Me and Shane versus DVD and Todd.
Oh, Lord. We might have to work that out sometime.
Where, Tuckertown? Isn't that what he said?
Well, that's fine. I'm good with that, too.
I
That's
like
just a long
Tuckertown.
way to drive, too.
Todd, you're getting me in a hole here, buddy. Hickory or Tillery?
Definitely not.
D, none of the
Yeah,
above.
you guys
yeah.
got to go somewhere neutral,
Yeah.
I think. That's the true
Well,
testament.
that was why I tried to go to Moss.
Well, we can go back to Moss.
Whatever.
Just getting a new
It's fine with
cameraman,
me.
apparently.
That's perfectly fine with me.
He's got his trail
got
mark.
no problem with that.
So I love how
I know how to get around it now.
I love how Todd has been commenting, but he's not actually said one way or the other if he actually
Exactly.
contributed.
Exactly.
He's just avoiding the
Exactly. He's not.
Yeah, he's making this really hard to understand.
Brings me back to my original point that I think I was good to begin with.
Oh, no. We already got a rematch.
Yeah. That's
Well,
what
he
it's,
invoked his right. He still's got to sign the belt.
Yeah,
No, I technically have not lost the belt.
technically, I think he's right.
Have you? Have you not? I mean, there's nothing been
Didn't nobody put no fish in my live well?
that we know about. I'm gonna tell you something. With
Well, I'm
that,
gonna tell you what.
with that little elf ride with
I'm
you, he'd
gonna
be
let
scared to
if
open
I'm
his
gonna let
mouth.
somebody put some fish in my live well, I'm gonna win.
Todd said he caught
You
4
better.
fish for 5 pounds each.
Dang.
Yeah. If that was the case, I would have brought like 23 to the scales the way he opened my live well and threw the other one in there. So
Well, maybe you only got to weigh one of his.
I didn't have a 5-pounder. I had a 3-something that I caught actually as we were going live.
I saw that one in the net. He threw some back.
Oh yeah, he threw some back. All right,
Oh,
Out of your
God.
live
out of my live well.
Oh my goodness.
How about well, I'm not gonna say no names on live, but some anglers yesterday had like
27 fish in their live
yeah,
well. I saw
more than
that.
they should have had in their live well.
I
at
saw
the weigh-in.
I saw a dip net full come
Yeah.
down, and then I saw a bag. I'm like, hang on a second.
Which is cool, but
See there? Now look at
we
there.
spend so much
See?
time
He
Culling
kept my
on the water.
3-pounder.
no,
if we could.
there
Like,
was no
pull back,
3-pound fish.
we would
he
have an
caught,
extra 30
period.
minutes probably to fish.
Sure.
If,
Well, I'm just going to tell you this. You had more than one 3-pounder.
no, I didn't. I swear to you.
You had to. You had 12 something, all right?
I had
the
12.
other ones you weighed did not weigh 2 pounds.
Yeah, they did.
I seen them.
One of them didn't. The rest of them, yeah.
No. No.
I think there should just be. Okay, there's one way to settle this. You got to just have a permanent camera on at all times.
You can't stream that, though.
It's okay. Well, we can chop it up. Just put the highlights. Just at least for each other to know there was no shenanigans going on.
I'm not.
No
listen,
cameraman
I'm not
getting
worried about
involved.
it. I found out later that Shane got some information prior to some brush piles and some other stuff. And you know what? I'm good with it. Whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, he reeled him in though. So
I reeled mine in too. I reeled mine in too.
I'm just messing with you, man. I have no idea.
Dave, you should have just lost. If you just lost, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I understand that. I knew
You
when it
should
was
have
going to
just
be
accepted
close.
defeat, bro.
I knew when it was going to be close at the end of the day. There was going to be some drama come about somehow. Shane ain't going to go down without a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's competitive, and that's fine. I respect that.
Speak for yourself. I spend literally 0 minutes calling.
What? He's in the gummy
Is that
bears.
a self roast?
He's in his gummy bears. There's
Yeah.
no telling him.
Like I can't understand. That's a flex, or he's roasting himself.
It's hard to tell by him.
Oh, here comes Joey.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
yeah.
a picture of Cookie with a rod and the net in the in the battle for the bell.
And I got a story that Cookie caught his biggest fish that day, but
Oh, I didn't know
I'm
that
just going to leave that alone.
I think I won. Todd said he thinks he won. Y'all should both sign the belt.
Dylan Falk, you're right. You never had to call that day.
Oh, is he talking about just one tournament?
He
or-
fished.
he
He
fished in
fished.
the-
one
Oh,
big
I
run
thought you were
last
talking
summer.
about just all the time, like
And I caught
every
the,
tournament. He
I
just
caught
does
the
a call,
last Lake Wiley unicorn,
which was what?
That was
like a
fact.
6-pounder. I literally looked over and saw a dark spot on a boat ramp, flipped the jig to it, and it started swimming off and set the hooks. And I was like, uh-oh. And it was,
This was in like a 1v1.
yeah, in what, June? July? August?
I don't remember when it was.
It was hot.
It was hot. August.
Who was
7th.
your cameraman that day?
Me.
Now wait a minute. I thought you
Oh,
caught that fish
okay,
on top
alright.
water.
Huh?
I thought you caught that fish on top water.
No. I never said I caught on top water.
Oh, see.
Good try, though.
Joey, wait a minute. The whole deal was a setup from the start.
That's right.
It
It was a
was.
setup.
It was. It sure was.
That's why there's a rematch of baiting, because Todd brought 9 fish to the scales because he thought it was MLF rules.
There's a
Wait,
series.
is it the same guy?
Yes, the same guy who's.
Maybe that's the
I don't
problem.
even know this guy, but he sounds.
I
He
mean-
sounds like a good.
He's
sponsored by
suspect.
Bear
He's
Claw.
suspect for sure.
Oh my gosh. That is
Oh.
hilarious.
Cherry cheese is his favorite one. He eats them by the box. Well, not anymore.
He left the box some over. Did you take him home with you?
Lord, no.
There was a box sitting over there. Maybe the roaches carried it off. I don't know.
Oh,
boy.
man.
65 people listen to this yang.
So where you want to go? Let's go somewhere.
Go to Lake Norman.
No.
Go to Lookout.
Neutral. No.
Look out. That'd
Yeah.
be good.
No.
Lookout small.
The
Just don't
problem-
go to the river. I got one bad spot on my boat, and it's from the Lookout River.
Boy, I tore the skag off my mess up there one time in the river.
See, the problem is there's nowhere that Shane can go that he hasn't been. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Shane's like 20 years older than you. You can't help that.
Oh,
He's just fished a lot longer than you have.
Can we count a farm pond?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, heck yeah. Let's go.
You should, if you're gonna,
Murray.
you should make it somewhere. Like drive a little bit. Make it fun. Go to somewhere. At least a few hours away or whatever.
Well, the problem is we're in a time crunch now because we've got to get this handled before Shane goes on the road because
Shane ain't gonna leave for 3 weeks.
We gotta settle this before he goes on the road.
No, we do. Yeah, no.
This beat.
Hey, what's that little tiny place above Monticello?
No, Stompy Pond's out because.
99 Islands?
No,
Par Reservoir?
Par.
Oh, God.
You ever
It's
been
got
there?
big smallmouth in it.
You ever been there?
Nope.
You ever been there?
No, I can't say I have. May have been there duck hunt one time.
Russell, but no, Lake Russell isn't good for anything.
Cane
Oh,
Creek.
yeah. You go, we'll fight over the bridges all day. It's the only way we can catch
Randleman.
them.
You ever been to Randleman?
Boy, yeah.
I don't even
You
know where
have
that's
been to
at.
I forgot.
Lake between Tiller and Vegas.
Where is that? What, is that Tuckertown?
What?
Probably.
No, Tuckertown's below High Rock.
No, there's a little small lake between Tillery and Baden. I can't remember what it's called, but I've heard a lot about it, and I heard it's got big ones.
We have to keep in mind I'm on 3 legs right now. Still, I gotta get somewhere with with 3 legs.
We'll just follow you and bring a spare.
I got 2 spares.
All right, we'll be all right then.
Todd said he'll make some phone calls for me. Jeez.
Some more phone calls is what it says.
Todd, we wouldn't have been here if you just kept your mouth shut. We've been fine. This would have been a done deal.
Oh my gosh.
Look,
Well, don't that sound like
Todd?
somebody running for office? If
Todd?
you'd just been quiet, we'd have got elected.
Yeah. Oh man.
Todd can't tell a lie, man. He just came clean. He just you're gonna lie to him, buddy.
Yeah.
So where are you going, Paul?
Oh man. I was gonna say nothing, but Dylan did.
Yeah. Best to keep it kid friendly.
That's funny.
Or are you trying to figure out where you're going?
Me? Wherever.
If it's wherever, then let's go to Wiley. Come beat me on my home turf.
Why can't you go to Norman?
I'm good.
Okay, we're going to Norman.
There we
then.
go.
All right,
Said.
fine.
20 minutes ago, I said we're
And,
going to Norman. We
and,
finally.
and you
All
can't
right.
do anything
We went
you've
full
learned
circle.
within the last week.
Oh man.
Well, what if I
Nah,
already
nah,
do?
nah, nah, nah. Yeah, that's
I'm just
right.
saying, what if I already do?
We're not going to Norman.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Why not?
Because I showed him how to catch them the other day.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm just yes, you did, sure. You tell your lie how you want to. I'll tell mine.
You gotta.
Well, let's see. You got my boat, went fishing with me. Did I one time say, Dave, where can we go catch some at?
I'll
Did-
tell.
I'll
tell you what, go pull up my map.
It's a yes or no question. Did I say, David, where can we go catch some at?
Go pull up my map.
It's a yes or no question.
You didn't ask me, no.
Okay. So obviously I took you to where some fish were at. We caught some fish.
We caught a few fish.
Okay.
All 9 pounds of them.
Okay.
So I'm going to go pull up your map. Are you saying you went back to Shane's stuff? without
Probably.
him
No, I was there before we
Probably.
went to it, but that's fine.
there? Jody, thank you
Don't
for.
get me started on that. Let's
Number
either
3.
let's either go to Mountain Island or go back to Moss.
Down for whatever. Here, I'll tell you what. You got a coin in your pocket?
No. We got a Gatorade cap.
Gaspo, we can't do that because I've been to Pickwick.
I have 2. Just saying.
And I'm not
That was
driving.
wild.
And I'm not driving.
I'm not driving
And
8
I'm not
hours.
driving 8 hours to do it.
I'll be right
Hey, what
back.
about Watery?
No, watery this time of year, you will never see a
We go
fish.
catch stripers.
That's about all you can do.
My gosh.
They don't just die in the wintertime.
They don't bite.
What do they
They
do?
go on strike.
They just starve all winter?
They don't eat. Where's he going?
I'm just gonna guess he's going to get a coin
I
to
got
flip
a
a
whole
coin,
pocket full of
and here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna flip it, and whatever it is, he's gonna be like, "Well, actually,
It's a two-sided coin.
yeah." And then there will be another tangent about why that place sucks when and all that. So
All right, since my character's coming to question, there's heads and there's tails.
I knew he was gonna do that. That's what they call
Well, I
it.
mean, I really did think that you had a two-sided coin. I was just
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, this has all come down to
Okay, so wait a minute. You can't flip it yet. So heads is what?
no, just you pick heads or tails, and you get to decide between Moss and.
No, I think
Mountain
you just
Island.
say heads is Moss and
Yeah,
tails is Mountain
okay,
Island
yeah.
and flip it.
All right, is that what it is?
Yeah.
nice. That's very nice right there, you ding dong.
Man, that looks like the daggone Redskins last night.
That was a train wreck, wasn't it?
It's heads.
Which one was that?
It's heads, Moss.
Okay, we're going
Going
back
back
to
to
Moss.
Moss.
Literally,
All
no
right.
one confirmed that it was heads other than David.
All right, here you flip it then.
No, I'm just
no,
being,
we don't.
but I'm just being honest. Like you just looked at it, you're like, yeah, it's heads, and we're just like, okay, just go to Moss.
Can we at
dude.
least go when the wind blows?
just go to Moss? Who cares, bro?
I mean, y'all want to question my character? Let's go.
I'm not questioning it. I'm just making a
gosh,
point.
it's all in good fun, David. Don't get your panties in the
I'm
water.
not. You just better bring your A game, sir.
It's so funny, man.
You gonna call the elf to camera for you again?
It don't matter. I can.
When are we going? If you're going this week, I can do it.
You'll ride with me if that's the case. That way, there's no
Well,
discrepancy.
then we'll catch real big ones. At least 13 pounds worth, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Oh gosh.
Well, if I can get inventory done, we can make it this week.
I'm ready. Tell me when. Thursday.
We're gonna put it on. We're gonna put it up in the air until all this gets done.
What's today? Monday?
It should
Yeah.
be done by Friday anyway.
We should be.
All right. Going back to Moss. I've never been to Moss. True story.
Same.
Go to that really deep, clear lake in South Carolina. We could catch some smallmouth on that.
Where?
Monticello.
Yeah.
Tom said he didn't call everybody. He knew.
I seen Joey call some smallmouth
On a
on there.
buzzbait.
On what?
A buzzbait.
Really?
Yeah, he put it up on his YouTube stuff.
Mm.
He was on the phone with Rhonda when the first one blew up on it. I gotta go. Talking about thawing out hamburger patties or something.
Oh god.
Who pinned this?
I accidentally pinned it.
Well, let's unpin that.
Okay.
What does that do?
It just puts it at the top.
Oh, I got you.
All right. So Moss rematch.
Yep. Are you gonna cry if I beat you again, Shane?
I'm not crying this time.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. Lake's off limits. No cell phones. No yang.
And you gotta delete your trail.
That's fine. It's not big enough to worry about, but okay.
There's John and Joey right there. Nobody can see it.
Yeah, because it's got a language filter on it.
There we go. Unpinned. Or unhidden.
But Joe was saying some bad words.
Yeah.
Well, he used the other terminology for a donkey.
All right, so it's set. It took us 32 minutes to get us a rematch in a location.
But I was going to tell you, it was worth it just to get David riled up.
Me, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's steaming over here.
No,
No, yeah.
You walked
Nope.
over to that cash
Throwing
register with
crap
purpose,
around,
too.
just, I
No.
mean,
it's all good.
Well, let the record show, the last 1v1, I had money on you. So, not doubting you, I'm just, you can't cheat.
That's why.
When you turn around and it's already done, what do you do? Like,
oh, man.
oh my gosh.
I say we just go back to the rule: cameramen can't fish. Period.
That's a pretty good rule.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I think that is the rule.
Yeah, okay. Then why did I see Casey Lee fishing on 3 different occasions?
Oh, man. I wasn't there. I don't know.
I'm just asking
What
questions.
are you talking about? Why did you see him fish? Well, I mean,
Thought cameramen couldn't fish.
I guess technically you're right. But I didn't weigh none of the fish he caught.
How do we know?
So how,
You don't know.
I'm
You
just-
don't-
I'm
you
asking-
don't know. You don't know. Now you're grasping at straws. You look here's
Look here.
I'm
The
just,
only thing
I'm
that
just
we
putting
need-
all the
at
facts
the end
out
of
there.
the day, here's what happened. Okay,
I'm putting all the facts
you
out
got
on the table.
busted. I didn't. Hands down. Your guy ratted on you.
No, my guy made a stupid decision.
Your guy ratted on you. Okay,
I mean,
so let's just move on. All right, we're gonna do it again.
It'll be fun.
I just asked a
It'll be
legitimate
fun.
question, and it's just okay to move on now.
Yeah.
We couldn't just move
No,
on
I
earlier.
said it was okay. Yeah, he fished. I didn't say he didn't. I mean, did I ever say that my cameraman did not fish?
Okay,
I did
so,
not hear that.
So technical ruling is both y'all are DQ'd, so we're doing a rematch.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh gosh.
All right. So this past weekend, can we go there now?
Yeah.
All right. So Jason Land has thing day after Christmas, right?
Yep.
Shane said he had 9 pounds.
9.3. You want to get right down to it.
9.3.
That's
So
all I can
who
catch.
won up there?
Lee Endicott won with right at 15 pounds. Had one almost 6. And I would have never ever thought it would have took that kind of weight on a day like that. Just slick calm. And yeah, it was just not a good fishing day for Lake Norman.
But I think I saw the rest of the weights too. Didn't Shane Lahue finish second?
He did with 13 something. I think it took 11. I think Mike Stevens was the last one to get paid.
He finished.
4th, wasn't he? Didn't he finish 4th?
I think so.
Did y'all have a bunch of boats with the
Yeah,
band after
Sea
Christmas?
Right and Addington were
I
third.
think we had about 40.
40. Is that down from what usually it is?
It's a little bit, but it's kind of to be expected, the day after Christmas and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people still doing the Christmas thing with the family, and a lot of people out of town.
Oh boy, see what y'all are doing, and yeah. Well, the difference is the legitimate winner of that didn't do anything
That we know of.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that we know of.
You're right. The legitimate winner brought 9 fish to the scales.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Man.
Christian,
You know something?
you came to a podcast that you're getting so much shade thrown on you right now.
That's cool.
See, here's the bad
It's
thing
cool.
about this. I was just doing this just to have a little fun and mess with David a little bit. Now it's kind of gotten.
Yeah, now you should feel bad about how far it's gone.
I don't feel bad about it, but yeah, probably shouldn't have got that far. Anyway,
All right. So how many are left up there for to fish off? To go all the way to March?
no,
Hey.
Jason Lane?
I think there's 6 or 8.
I think 6 more. I think I seen a post today.
Okay.
There's 6 more.
And
Which
then
is a really, really long time.
Todd,
can't fish a bridge.
Just quit.
No idle zones.
no idle zones. Oh boy.
And then you speak about everybody doing the Christmas thing. So you're home. So Christian and I got back together and fished this Sunday.
Got the band back
We
together.
got the band back together. You didn't come home last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we didn't fish
Yeah.
last year.
No, yeah, I wasn't up here for Christmas last year.
But the year before that, you did the same thing, and we were able to win then, and we won yesterday too. We had 13. What was it? 13-2-7.
13 and a quarter or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we squeaked out Reed by like
Announced.
yeah, like .08 or .09, something like that.
Y'all had some Lake Wiley studs.
We had
Yes,
all
sir.
largemouth.
all largemouth.
All largemouth.
That probably hadn't been done in a while.
Well, about 11:30, I looked at Christian and I said, "Hey man, we can keep doing this. Probably catch 9 pounds of spots, or we can go try to catch largemouth." And that's what we did. And it wasn't easy. I mean, we
No.
fished for whatever 3.5 hours like that. And we caught them all in one little stretch. Boom, 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 and called once.
Not a lot of times that mattered.
Well, I'm saying we called after we had all our largemouth. I think we called one more time, maybe.
There was a few times where I was back there making sure we got an extra 16th of an ounce, from
It mattered.
Yeah, yeah, 14 and a quarter, and then 14 and a quarter. I did catch a double. I mean, almost
Got
immediately.
two doubles. Yeah.
On a bam rig first thing. It's
I
like,
thought you didn't throw Memory.
They did
oh,
yesterday.
I'll throw the rig. I don't
He,
prefer. I don't like it.
What was weird about those two doubles? Well, so both of them, one was a keeper, like a line burner, and the other one was a non-keeper. Both times, but both times it was a spot and a largemouth.
And both
Mixed
times
in
the
together.
spot was
It was bigger.
significantly larger. Like I'm talking 8 to 10 inch largemouth on one, and then
There's a lot of
pound and a half.
undersized largemouth out here right
That's
now.
a good thing.
Yeah,
though.
that's a real good thing because there ain't too many oversized largemouth out here right now.
And there's a whole lot of undersized spots too. There's a lot of stock. We just gotta wait for it to catch up.
I don't think anyone had a 4-pounder yesterday.
Reed's fish would have been really close.
Was it a spot or largemouth?
Another largemouth. Reed's would have been really close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say high threes. I don't think it was a 4-pounder, but it was high. They didn't pay big fish. Only had 9 boats, so they paid first and second. So Reed got the second place money.
It was fun though, running
Yeah.
around. It was warm.
It
And
was
We
warm.
got to see the crazy stuff that's happened to the lake, like the Ebenezer Park, whatever.
Yeah, he hasn't been here in a
I
long
haven't
time.
seen it since,
I didn't see
you
it
hadn't seen
either.
that?
No, until yesterday.
There's gonna be some brush piles put on the poles.
When we went down the lake, I said, "Wait till you see Ebenezer," and he's like, "Holy crap, that's Ebenezer!"
Dude, yeah, that's it's a little bit depressing though.
A lot
A lot of good docks are gone or rebuilt, and
Oh yeah.
not good anymore.
That's what's irritating when you have a good dock and you go to fishing, it's just gone. You're like,
Listen, they pulled out a really good one of mine 2 weeks ago. I rounded the corner and there's two guys out there with chainsaws and pulling it up on the beach. I'm like,
The
oh,
dock?
Yes,
I noticed the boathouse that fell down
it's gone.
is finally gone.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
one that not cool.
Yeah, that made the fishing tractor buoy beside it actually have fish on it.
Yeah.
I know a couple guys that whack them off the fish tractor buoys
Yeah.
now.
But it was fun. We
Get on them.
I was happy to have our largemouth. I hate that we let them all go at the bridge.
Hey, you restocked my hole for me. I appreciate that.
There's a bunch of people fishing the bridge yesterday. I saw
Yeah.
4 of the 9 boats stop on the bridge at one point
I
yesterday.
can't imagine why. Tommy Streeter. What's up, Tommy? So let's get the
Yeah, so
while we got Christian here, let's take advantage and
so for everybody that doesn't know Christian, so Christian grew up here. Well, we fished together probably 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. Long time.
Yeah, it was.
And then he picked up and moved to Florida and just left me. I was
he got
heartbroken. I didn't know what to do.
Brandon walked on his lip for months.
Oh man.
But someone that grew up here and now moving, so you live in Crystal River. Right?
Crystal River.
I always want to say Crystal Lake because of Lake Murray.
Yeah.
Crystal River. So what is technically your home lake down there?
So the closest lake to where I actually live is called Lake Rousseau.
Okay.
And Lake Rousseau is actually a man-made lake, which is extremely rare in Florida. In fact, I only know of 2: Lake Seminole and then Lake Rousseau. But it's like Santee kind of, where it's just flooded with timber. So there's like a safe channel kind of that you can run in, but anything else outside of there is
Potluck.
I've seen many people wreck their boats on that lake.
Sounds a lot like Seminole.
It's worse. For what it's worth, it is awesome to fish that lake, but better make sure your insurance is good. But other than that, there's a chain of lakes about maybe 20 minutes east of me called the Sala Apopka chain, natural lakes. Those are really good, mainly like schooling fish. It's either catch a 10-pounder or a 1.5-pounder, in between. And then the Hairshane.
So the Hairshane, is that, I guess, the main chain of lakes that you claim?
That I consider that my home lake or body of water. It's not the closest, but I spend the most time over there.
Okay. So you fished the Opens last year,
Mhm.
right? First year in the Opens.
First one. at the
First one was at the
Hairshane.
Hairshane. I know that did not go as planned.
No.
But you had a top 10 at Norman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they called you out as a Florida guy on stage, which I was laughing at because they had no idea that you actually probably fished Lake Norman
Yeah,
a lot more than.
The tournament director was like, "They even have any spotted bass down there?" And I was like, "Nope, they do not."
Not yet. They're coming.
Golly, those guys would have a heart attack.
Oh man.
So the biggest difference between the lakes in Florida versus here, I would say grass, but realistically, I think you already said they're natural lakes.
Natural lakes.
As opposed to our man-made river chain dammed lakes here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Changes the game.
So go into that. What do you mean by changes the game? What do you do different when you're approaching a natural man-made lake? And we'll just say Florida because when we talk about that, we got the Great Lakes and all the smallmouth people up north that are in natural lakes too, which is probably different, right?
Oh, way different.
Yeah. At least in Florida, I mean, the biggest difference is the lake itself changes a lot more.
Okay.
Being a natural lake, especially with grass. So take this with a grain of salt, but to an extent, like I've learned that when you look at a Florida lake, which is, historically, they're all pretty much bowl-shaped, right? Like I like to draw them in quadrants, right? So break it into like 4 sections, and usually, in the 3 years I've lived down there, when you find them in Florida, it seems like, I'm not going to say 90% of the bass, but the majority are going to be using like a certain general area. And that's a big reason why a lot of guys like fish on top of each other.
Okay.
I don't think it's as much they're trying to hold jump you. It seems like it a lot. I know Shane has talked about that before, but I think it's because that's just where they're at. Natural lakes, it's generally more area specific. You don't crank up and run around a lot like you do up here. Like yesterday, we cranked up and ran. I mean, like,
gosh,
50
well,
times.
this lake's not real big, but yeah, we did run a whole lot. I forget who said it. It's one of the Florida guys. It's on the elites, but he basically said on stage while they were in Florida, if you pick up the trolling motor once, you're fishing for second. If you pick it up more than once, you might as well put it on a trailer. Is what he said.
That can be true. It can be true. It can be. The best tournaments I've had in Florida have come from starting the engine 2 times.
2 times?
Yeah. At takeoff and then to come back. But I've had good tournaments down there, more running and gunning, but
It's hard to run a pattern there because, like you said, it's more area specific stuff to where, you just go and set the boat down and fish, and that's about the size of it.
yeah.
So it's like high rock with grass.
Yeah. My favorite saying for Florida is 90% of the fish live in 10% of the water.
Yeah, that's just especially true down there.
So when you say the lake changes a lot, are you talking about the grass lines change?
Mainly the grass. So I'll just be straight with you guys. If there's hydrilla in the lake, that's probably where you need to be. I mean, there are other ways to win, but I don't really sight fish. I honestly don't. If I can find offshore hydrilla, that's what I'm going to go for. That's where most people catch, and especially the deepest you can find. And that because for whatever reason, the FWC decided they hate hydrilla so bad. They kill it every time. But if you can find it, especially if it's just starting to grow back in deeper water, that's generally what I look for.
But deep there's like 8 to 10.
Yeah, like on the Hairshane is different. The Hairshane, I mean, there's like some trenches that they dug out for like some clay mining. It's like 25 feet, which hydrilla won't grow that deep there. But yeah, like 8 to 12 is the best depth generally that I've found. But yeah, new grass growth, wind,
Spraying.
like it's just weird. Like the first year I fished the Hairshane, I spent most of my time actually fishing Lake Harris, right? And this one particular general area at the time had a ton of offshore hydrilla. Well, after trying to find them in there for a couple of days, ran into them, and we just blasted them for weeks. They never moved, right? Well, then the hydrilla died, and then maybe 8 months later, it started growing back at a different spot, right, or a different area of the lake, and then same story there. But outside of that bite, you really can't catch them one here, one there, like you can here. I don't know about now, but when I lived up here, if you're struggling, I mean, you can start skipping random docks with the jig for the last couple hours.
Start covering water.
And cover water. You really can't do that in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say group up like in a school, but the correct term I guess would be like an aggregation. They like to kind of all go in the same general area for the same reasons, but they're not actually like in a school like what you fish out here offshore. When there's like literally a pile of them all together.
There you go with the nerd terms.
Yeah, it's dangerous having me on this podcast because I won't shut up. So you guys can tell me, like, there has to be a hand signal of like, all right, dude, like you've talked way too much.
So it's interesting you say that. So Shane and I talked about this. I forget which it was. I think it was technically FLW then, but a guy won at Okeechobee by literally casting a Texas rigged Cinco at one reed head for 4 days. Literally put his power poles down.
I can believe it.
And cast it at that one reed head for 4 days. Weren't you in that area?
Drive. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
That's
it.
right. That's when you were. That was FLWs. You were in the tour
it
then.
was.
He literally drove there, dropped power poles, and cast at one reed head,
And won
Hey.
the tournament.
and won a tournament.
As much as fishing history can burn you, I mean, what caused one fish to get there probably caused another one, and whatever that is to be determined. But
Yeah. Well, that one reed head, it must have been really good.
apparently.
So outside of that, so is it always grass? I mean, is there any hard cover? So out here, so we were targeting rock and stump lines, and we fished docks yesterday. We did a bunch of stuff. Riprap, obviously, there's probably no riprap, but well, there might be.
Very, very little. Not really on any of the natural lakes, but
Okay.
occasionally.
So are you fishing what I would call hard cover with? Are you always targeting grass or?
No.
Okay.
No, there's definitely hard cover to fish. Docks play a big role down there. Brush. If you find brush offshore in Florida, I don't care what lake you're on, there's like almost 100% chance you're bringing one in.
Somebody snuck it in there because it's highly illegal to get caught.
Yeah,
in.
I've never planted brush in my life, but I like to fish it if I find it.
Yeah.
But they like to get in brush, so if you can find some, especially out like in, away from the bank, I don't know what it is. Probably because there's literally nothing else out there. They get on them pretty good.
Do they bury up in it like they do here? Or they just kind of like loosely relate to it.
I would say more loosely relate to it.
Okay, that's interesting. I guess it's in I guess I don't want to say barren, but in a very featureless, flat reservoir. If you got something to stick up, I guess it's probably a reference point for them to really know where they are, right?
Yeah,
because the bottom of those lakes are covered in dead, dying grass, organics, right?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing that will change the game. And I never thought about this until I had moved down there. Is you take hard bottom for granted up here, because there's a lot of techniques you just literally cannot do in Florida because of the bottom composition.
Yeah. So the bottom composition down there is pretty.
It depends. The Hairshane actually has a surprising amount of hard bottom.
Okay.
A lot of shell beds, but there's a lot of sand. Places you could like drag a Carolina rig or something and not bring it back with just globs of crap all over it.
Snot.
Yeah. But there's a lot of nasty bottom there too.
Well, the Hairshane is actually a lot, what I'll call, dirtier than other Florida lakes as far as the water quality goes, right?
Yes. It's not like when the lakes here get dirty because of runoff. It's
right.
It's like the I could go super nerd here, but I'm not. It's they're almost literally on steroids when it comes to a long time ago. There was a lot of agriculture around the lake, and a bunch of phosphorus got in the lake. All of the lakes around the Hairshane.
We had William Fraser on here talking about you gotta have phosphorus in your lakes for bass
so
to get
all
big.
the plankton in the lake, there's way more in the lake than would naturally exist. So that's like the building blocks to
so the bait fish get
the
big,
food
giant,
chain.
healthy.
Yeah, I mean the Hairshane is. Look, this would probably upset a lot of people that I would say this, but I would argue the Hairshane might be the number one place in the country as far as the population of largemouth and the quality of them. Now, it's a level 10 as far as difficulty to fish. It's not easy to catch them there. It's really hard.
Yeah.
But they're in there. Like, really good.
Well, we see it. Someone always cracks a 30-pound bag on a Hairshane.
Yeah.
The guys that live around here, like, obviously really know how to catch them, right? If you really want to see what the Hairshane has to offer, you need to go fish or just look up some of the local stuff down there. It will hurt your feelings.
A buddy of mine lives down there, and he had 32 something down there about 2 weeks ago.
Did he win?
Yeah. You know Tim Frederick?
Yeah. I know Tim. Yeah, he's really good actually. He's taken my money more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. But yeah, the Hairshane is I don't know. Some days you'll question if there's any fish in there because you can't catch them. That's just Florida strain bass in general, in my opinion. Yeah. They're just the reason why I think they're like that is just because there is so much bait and so much just life that they're just naturally used to being able to feed almost whenever they want. So if you're not running into them when they're actually wanting to feed, you'll never know they're there. It's easy to fish right over top of them.
So he said something yesterday after he caught that first double. He was like, he threw the little tiny one back because we didn't have 5 at the time. He goes, in Florida, you can put that in a live well.
That's true.
So I didn't know that, but in the tournaments he fished, there's no size limits.
Yeah.
You can bring in a 5-incher if you want to.
Really? I thought they had to be 12 inches. Every tournament I've ever fished down there had to be.
That's a Bassmaster rule.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's kind of weird how it works, but also kind of cool. You actually have to have one of these exemption forms to have a tournament. I mean,
we signed them at the ICAST Cup.
I'm not going to encourage anyone to break the law or anything, but if you were to just go do a wildcat or something and on your own, you wouldn't have any problems probably. But technically, you're supposed to have these exemption slips, and each angler gets one, and it allows you to bring in 5 of any size, which is kind of ironic because if you bring in one less than 12 inches down there, I mean,
you're
wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've seen a lot
if I got 4 7-pounders? I got 4
If you got 4 7-pounders and you ain't got a decent 5th one, that was the luckiest day of your life, bro. But it's cool. It's just cool to, it's like in Florida, the FWC, they understand that the bass guys are not the people we really need to govern with that kind of stuff. Yeah. They're just trying, I know some people eat bass, but we just throw them back.
I don't know why you would. There's so many better fish to eat, especially in Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the lakes are full of tilapia and everything else.
My crappie down there are huge.
Yeah,
too.
crappie fishing is really good down
Yeah.
there.
Well, I've been to the Hairshane before, where if you were going crappie fishing, you need to take your own lily pad. I mean, they're stacked on top of each other.
I've caught a lot of big bass down there that had crappies in their throats when I caught them. So they
Yeah.
play a role for the big ones down there.
So I think Toho is coming up on the open schedule, right?
Mhm.
I know you're still on the waiting list. Is that the first Florida lake coming?
Yeah, it's the first. That's the first Southern Open.
I didn't know if the elites went first or not.
They go to St.
St.
John's.
and the Hairshane
Yeah.
back to back.
Wait, FLW?
No,
No,
the elite series.
Oh, because I think FLW comes down to the Hairshane too.
Yeah.
That's later though, right? That's
In
in
March.
March.
Okay. I didn't know the elites were going to. Same
Rematch
here.
should be fun.
Yep. So opens go, the elites and the opens. It's whichever one the opens are going to, the elites are going to the other, or vice versa between Toho and the Hairshane.
The Open's at Toho.
Yeah.
Telling you, they don't need to keep coming to Florida at this time.
Yeah.
I've said that for years.
I'm serious.
It's the absolute worst time to go to Florida.
100%.
So when is the best time to go, in your opinion? Is it the hotter the better?
A better question I would have to answer your question would be, what is your goal?
Catch a giant one.
To catch a giant one. What's a giant one to you?
Thanksgiving.
Over 10 pounds.
Over 10 pounds?
Yeah.
I would say like November and December.
Okay. So we've always heard the rumor, or whatever you want to call it, but are they on the bed right now?
Right now, I don't know.
Have they already been on the bed?
I have not seen any on the beds yet.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of guys talk about super early spawning waves, stuff like that. Hairshane, it's hard to tell though because a lot of fish don't spawn where you can physically see them. So it's possible, but I've not caught any that have shown any signs of
No
being-
post-spawn fish
yeah.
yet?
But last year, when I was on that crazy streak down there,
Mhm.
I caught obvious post-spawn fish in like the first one I remember was like maybe second week of January.
Okay.
And they were already post.
I'll beat
So
it.
it happens pretty quick when they do it.
Was that on the Hairshane, or was that because you were going to St. John's a good bit then too, weren't you?
I've only been there once,
Okay.
St. John's. So I don't know where that would be you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe I probably just misspoke there.
Places-
So the biggest adjustment that you had from moving here to Florida, is it how fast you fish, techniques, or what was the biggest?
Okay, so technique-wise, there's a lot of stuff you would never think would work down there that is some of like the best stuff to do, and then a lot of stuff that you think is really like Florida stuff, right? What's your first thought?
You asking me?
Yeah, just like
Oh,
someone.
there's a lot of flipping.
Okay, so flipping,
Frogging.
frogging, running like a skinny dipper, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which all those work. But like, I can count on maybe two hands how many frogfish I've caught down there. I don't fish it a whole lot, but like for me, I'm more comfortable fishing offshore anyways. It's kind of like my strength. But I just truly believe that the vast majority of fish in Florida are, more.
Not in the bushes.
Yeah, like you can. I mean, it also depends on the time of year. Flipping, in my opinion, is the best in the summertime.
When it's really hot.
Yeah, hottest time of year is the best time to flip. And probably frogging too, I guess. But they bite a jerkbait. Really good down there.
So you're down there winding a crystal cross speed trap through hydrilla?
I have. Crystal Crawl is a really good color in tannic water, by the way. Trust me. Oh man, that's too funny.
So there is hope for Ron Farrow.
Yeah, you know what? He made a joke about. He was like, "Yeah, man. Every time I go down there, I just do stupid stuff, like throw a crystal cross speed trap." And I'm like, "No, keep doing that."
You just got to find the right
Yeah,
area.
you just got to throw it in a different place, apparently.
That's great. That's great. Well, a few times I was down there with Shane, I remember I went, flipping rods and all kinds of crap. And we went down there and threw flipless crankbaits and wound horny toads and skinny dippers and and topwater prop baits, needlefish type stuff.
Yeah, that's
Devil's
they
horse.
like those.
And I don't think I ever even. I put my punch rig in the boat on day 2 of the tournament, and that was it. I don't think we did that at all.
No.
We're getting too many bites doing everything else.
Yeah, they were biting the skinny dipper and the Big Easy pretty good when we were there.
Yeah.
I would say that, like, if you want to catch a big one, like a real big one, I've only caught them doing what I call like extreme reaction baits.
Okay.
People say like they throw reaction baits and they're talking about like a spinner bait. I mean, it's a moving bait to me. A real reaction bait would be like ripping a lipless crankbait, like really hard, or like flipping like an 1.5 ounce weight with like a why not. So it's just like a beeline super fast.
So they don't even know what they ate.
Yeah,
just
like
ate it.
Giant Florida bass are crazy smart. So if they can look at it, I mean, I can't catch them on that kind of stuff. I never have. It's always
You catch the 3-pounders on spinnerbait.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, but then that being said, you can watch Bassmaster footage of Rick Clump catching like 36 pounds on a spinnerbait. So
Well, that's because he had a full size worm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Which, by the way, I saw that highlight recently just pop up, and I zoomed in on when he grabbed the 9-pounder, and it had he had a treble hook on his spinnerbait. At least it looked like it to me.
There's a lot of guys that do that with
a trailer hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a worm, like a ringworm
Yeah.
looking,
Like one of those old zipper worms.
Yeah, whatever they're called.
A dead ringer.
Well,
I
it was
don't know.
flat. It was weird looking. It was flat. Looked like remember those zipper worms that were like flat. It looked like someone took a dead ringer and smashed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
what
has
it,
one
no,
little
that's what
U-tail
it was called. It was called
Zipper.
zipper worm.
Yeah.
Timmy Horton's got one out that's similar to it.
There was that, and then Mark Menendez did real well in that tournament too, and he was doing the same thing, throwing a spinnerbait and flipping a 10-inch.
But it's
worm.
kind of, here's the thing about that. It's kind of different, though, when that was going on, because 90% of those fish were on the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, I flipped docks in that tournament and finished 18th, I think, with a Magnum trick worm. I fished around Clun the entire time. He was whacking giants. I was catching 3.5 pounders. I was like, yeah. He's catching 9s and was like, well, okay, come here.
The first tournament I ever fished in Florida was like just some little wildcat deal, and there was 20 boats probably, and I had like almost 18 pounds, which I felt pretty good about. You know, like this is a pretty big bag for me. And well, not everyone weighed, but almost everyone did, and we were literally in last place of people who weighed. Literally 10th was 20 something. So.
Did you realize you weren't in Lake Wiley anymore?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, we have got to go back to the drawing board.
No more shaky heads.
Yeah. Which is not, people have a misconception about Florida. You think when you talk about this kind of stuff, like you can just go down there for like a little mini vacation. Oh, dude, we'll catch a 10-pounder for sure.
Yeah,
and
not.
You'll come up here more confused than before you came down most of the time.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
boy.
it's tough. The hardest part for me has been being able to recognize when you're around them, but you don't get the fish to like literally show themselves.
Yeah.
You have to use like the bait and your own intuition to like almost gamble that you are in the right area, because when it happens, like I've never just had like caught one an hour all day. It's usually 90% of the day is usually terrible, and then you'll have like a short window where it's very obvious the fish are one to play ball. That's how it's been for me, though.
So
some exceptions.
So
Obviously.
does live scope help?
I just got.
I just
Yeah,
just
I just
got
got it.
So maybe that'll change as far as showing themselves. You might be able to see them just locked down, right? We saw them out here. They just didn't want to play until we hit a couple places that they did. But
If they're in grass, I've only used live scope in a tournament once. I've only had it for what, 2-3 weeks probably.
I don't know. I forget when you called me and told me you got it.
But I can't see them in in the grass.
Okay.
I think anyone who fishes grass with live scope would probably agree. If there's a way, I would love to know. But
X-ray setting.
they're not always like Florida is mainly grass if there's good grass. You know what I mean? Like not all grass is equal. Obviously, generally it's got to be healthy. And at the Hairshane in the Open on day 2, I actually fished around you. I don't know if you saw me behind that island on Lake Harris.
Over at Banana Cove?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of offshore hydrilla over there. Did you fish it?
I did.
How many did you catch?
On the actual cove side, none. On the back side of the island, I caught quite a few.
Quite a few. Okay.
Mhm.
Any good ones?
one 5-pounder that I lost.
Okay, so yeah,
And my
would be the
co-angler-
answer to me anyway.
My co-angler caught 2 4s there. The second, my co-angler won.
So where you? Oh, okay. I think you told me that.
Yeah, that was the guy with the spinning rod and chatterbait.
Spinning rod and a chatterbait, and a spinning rod and a speed worm. He catches a 4 and a 6. I ran down to a pop and he caught a 6 out of a reed head on a spinning rod.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
I told him, I said, man, that's just your turn.
Yep. I wish that would happen to me.
Yeah,
Well,
me too.
while you're trying to horse him out, his just buried up and gave up. Shane went and got him.
Well, I don't know if you remember exactly how the grass set up back there, at least for that tournament. But where I saw you, you were definitely on the best grass in that area.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I mean,
I
I
was
just
like, dang it, Shane would find that.
the second day of the tournament, I told my guy, because I stunk it up the first day. I went to a pop the first day, the entire day, and I just lost them. I mean, I had, you know how that story goes. Oh, well, I had 20 pounds on, but I lost them, dude. I got 14 bites over there and landed 2 of them. So the second day, my guy said he was in like 3rd or 4th place. I said, well, I know where we can go. You can catch a limit, you know. And I'm that guy. If I can help the guy, I'm going to help him. I mean, I'm obviously out of it. I wasn't fishing for points. So I told him, I said, bring a chatterbait and bring you a speed worm. He gets in the boat that morning. He's got 2 spinning rods. And I'm like, what's he going to do with those? So
Whack on him, apparently.
Yeah.
Catch a 6-pounder, 4-pounder.
So I started going down that stretch of grass, and man, I was freaking whacking them. I mean, but they were like 2 pounds, 2 1/4. I probably caught 30, and I said, "Man, what do I need to do for you here?" I mean, he said, "Oh, I'll be all right." He's still on that speed worm out there, and finally he hooks one, and I went over there and I said, "Just pull it up in the grass, and I'll go get it." And I went down there and picked up with both hands. There's a 4-pounder in there.
That could just hurt my soul. 'Cause I finished like 210th in that tournament.
You weren't throwing it on a spinning rod.
You think that makes a difference?
We have a great. David has a great selection of spinning rods there. You probably don't own any now that you moved to Florida, but
I'll still throw a spinning rod, but very rarely.
I know this. After fishing up here, I spent a bunch of money in September, October, buying spinning rods and
I'm
reels.
gonna say we saw you with a spinning rod yesterday. Chris Dover says that was on his hole, Shane.
No, that was not on Dover's hole. Dover's hole was on the other side.
Is that where y'all were catching? Is that where everyone up from up here who did any good in that tournament caught
It was
them?
on Dover's hole.
Dover was in there, made the top 10. Gene Webster was in there, made the top 10.
Oh my gosh, I'm sick to my stomach right now, man.
Yeah, I was there.
Good job though, guys. Seriously.
I mean, I know where they were both fishing at, but I stayed. They were both we were in contention. There wasn't no need of me getting in there on top of them.
Yeah.
But I did know where that other grass flat was at over there on the other side. And like I said, it's just a bunch of 2-pounders for me, and I did lose a 5 over there. But
It's weird though, like when you find them in at least hydrilla like that down there, and you know you're on them, you have the evidence. Like, you can fish for an hour or 2 hours and never even get a bite, and you know they're there, 100%. And then just for unknown reasons, they'll just turn on, and it's Armageddon for as long as you can keep it going.
yeah,
It's-
every cast.
It's the moon
Yeah.
relationship.
The moon. Yeah.
You got-
The moon got right.
Yeah, the moon got right. Orion's
That's
belt.
it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I was going to say that, but you said it.
I had to.
Watch it actually be related to the moon or something crazy like that.
Well, you said it yesterday. Man, it's stuff out there. The moon's not right.
That's too funny. Man.
It happens like that
Doggone
sometimes.
right it does. Or I believe it does anyway.
So if I was going to Florida with one bait, would it be a lipless crankbait?
Oh man, it would not be.
It would not. All right, so what's it going to be?
Are we giving up the juice?
That's up to you. You could
I'll
tell
give you
us.
the juice.
You could tell us a complete lie. And I'd be
Well,
like,
one
okay.
bait.
Yeah, boy.
All right,
I'm getting
all
one of
right.
those.
Well, yeah, it's like flipping the coin. I mean, you just have to take my word for it. You know.
Yeah. You're the only one that can verify.
Yeah.
Judge, jury,
I
and
guess
executioner.
one
right here.
bait for what numbers? Or are you trying to catch a 10-pounder?
So if I'm going to Toho as a boater,
Okay.
come January, whenever it is, 3rd week January, something like that.
No,
It's in
it's
January.
That one's actually the first week of February.
First week of February. And I got one bait in case my rods get stolen at the hotel.
Oh Lord, don't
There's-
talk like that.
It's in the cards.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
What am I taking?
It's hard to say without knowing like what the grass looks like, but the only reason I'm gonna give you guys the juice here is because of all people, Brian New actually gave this up
Okay.
when he won that Open down there. But square bill.
A square bill. Okay.
Square-
A square bill. A
Yeah.
big square bill, like a
I like.
Magnum 9.0 square bill?
You'd be
or-
surprised. I have thrown some really big ones,
Well,
and they
I mean,
bite it. But my favorite one
Shane and I
throw.
watched the shiner fishermen bust 30 pounds on the same grass line we were on, and we were catching 2-pounders.
That's a fact.
And they were heaving shiners that big.
They'll crush a speed trap, but my favorite one in Florida is actually the Strike King 2.5.
2.5.
Mhm.
Okay.
Something about it has that real wide roll to it.
Mhm.
There's just something about that.
Amp it up and go to the 4.0.
They bite that one too. I'm
So-
serious.
So are
They-
you
crack
burying
it
that?
in-
Are you burying that in the grass, or are
So
you trying to
I
take
like-
the tops of it?
No, yeah. If you're fishing hydrilla and it's anywhere remotely close to topped out, you pretty much gotta kind of get like down the lanes.
Okay.
Hopefully bang it into the sides and rip it out if it gets hung up. But it's good in eelgrass.
Eelgrass.
Yeah.
All right. So we're looking for eelgrass.
Hydrilla.
2.5.
Chartreuse black.
Yeah. That's a good color. I like the whatever the natural, really like realistic shad color is. Just my go-to. It doesn't matter. My brother throws like some translucent looking colors, but I don't know. I fish it different than most people. I don't just wind it back. I fish it like kind of like a lipless, where I'll get it over. Also, I will wind it down, but when it starts ticking the tops of the grass, I'll use my rod and I'll just kind of like sweep it and then drop my rod. So I guess in theory the bait's just kind of ticking off the tops of the grass and then will kind of float up as you're reeling up your slack. There's something about the bait rising rather than sinking like a lipless that works really well in grass. I know it sounds like the opposite, but
That's interesting.
it works really well. I've caught some big ones.
I've seen the pictures. Now maybe I can show them with them swallowed.
To be honest, though, most of those Hairshane fish were not on a square bill, and that when I won those tournaments down there.
Well, I wasn't going to show those pictures. I'm sending those
Oh
too.
man, one of those days was on a jerkbait.
That's the one I remember
Heck yeah.
because he sent it to me. It's like, are you catching 15 pounds of jerkbait yet? Nope. He sent me fish that literally have like the whole jerkbait stuck in the side of their mouth and it's completely closed.
Well, we'll catch 15. You caught 25.
I got
But-
15 and 3.
Yeah.
Carolina rig's good too. I've got some really big ones on a Carolina rig. I know it's not like a reaction bait, but for me, the really big ones either go extreme on one way or the other.
For reaction versus.
Like dragging like a straight tail finesse worm
Okay.
on a Carolina rig works really well.
So one or the other. Either rip it or.
Do literally nothing.
Dead stick it.
Just let it chill.
I drew a guy at Watery, I think, when I was first starting as a co-angler, and he did real well offshore summertime. Yeah, it was Watery. Offshore summertime, dead stick at Carolina rig. Basically catfished a Carolina rig.
Oh, Lord.
I was 16. I didn't know any better.
Mm.
It was like pulling teeth, but he caught him. Throw a Carolina rig out there, smoke a cigarette.
Oh, my Lord.
And it just swim off.
You know what is really annoying to me is when I started watching a lot of like Bassmaster stuff of guys who just blast them down there in Florida. I saw them doing the Texas rig, that Senko,
Yeah.
like a lightweight, and in my mind I'm like, that is the dumbest thing. Like that does not look fun. But dude, it works.
Oh, it works.
They-
Oh, it
I don't
works.
know why, but they like that thing, man.
Quarter ounce Texas rig.
Yeah.
Nah.
Uh,
You talking about 16th or
Yeah, I was
8th?
saying
Yeah.
it's even
Oh,
smaller
Four
than
ounce
that.
too heavy.
I just
You go to 8th if the wind blows.
Oh, and Brian knew one this past year down there. That was a big deal. of
Yeah.
his. He
Well,
was
you mean at the
flipping
St. John's?
Yeah, St.
Yeah.
John's. Flipping pads with that thing.
It's not a very glamorous way to catch them.
It's not, but it's very effective.
It's extremely effective.
Yeah, it might not be glamorous, but anytime you get to set the hook on a single hook bait,
It's a good time.
I'm in. Don't get me wrong. My favorite, I can't say my favorite, one of my most favorite ways to catch them is on a jerkbait. When they stand it up, that is fun. But when you get that solid thump and you get to crack them, I don't care what it is. Dropping the hammer
You're
on
not
them
lying.
is way more fun than just winding into them.
Something I've noticed about Florida strain versus, I guess, northern strain. with soft plastics, for me, they seem to prefer like gliding style plastics.
Down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything with like rage craws. Now, there have been days where they have, maybe they're a little more on the active side, and they might prefer more something with a lot of
The flappers.
Yeah. But when it comes to either like worms or like flipping stuff, I really like straight tail stuff.
That's always the first thing when I go to Florida. If I'm flipping a plastic bait, that's the first thing I try to figure out. Do they want flappers or do they want straight? And I mean, I've had a couple good tournaments in Florida, but I've had way more bad ones than I have good ones. But
That's because you were flipping flappers when they want to glide.
well, I mean, really,
It really can matter that
It
much.
really does. I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard guys say that when they're pre-spawn, they like the straight tail stuff. When they're post-spawn, they like the flappers.
I don't know what it is. If you those flappers makes it fall a lot slower.
It's just more action.
Think so?
My thought process on that is I generally go with the gliding stuff is because I'm like, all right, if they're active enough to prefer the crazy action of like a rage craw, for example, they probably would be at least willing to bite a glider. But the opposite might matter more. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the
you
rate
can overdo it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to overdo it than it is to.
I can tell you, it's drove me crazy down there before. It's gotten to the point where, like, when you're flipping a beaver, do I split the tail on my beaver or not?
Sometimes it can matter.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
For what it's worth, the best flipping bait ever made is the Gambler. Why not? In my opinion, it mainly. I mean, it's basically a beaver, but the way that it sets up on a straight shank. You know what I mean? Like the beaver's
I've never fished that bait.
the Gambler. Why not?
Never.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
I know what
You
it
never
is.
heard of the Gambler? Why not?
Yeah, I know what
okay.
it is, but I've never fished it.
I'll never fish it.
It's-
Gambler's a Florida thing.
Okay, so the Gambler. Why not?
I
Is
figure we throw Zach.
imagine if you had a beaver
Tell you.
and you just took off the bottom half of it. So you have like the tails and the little side. Whatever you call 'em.
I'm thinking of the ugly otter. Is what I'm.
It's
thinking of.
kind of similar,
Okay.
but it's like if you got the bottom half of a beaver and put that on like a Senko. So it's a thicker.
It's
okay.
similar to the BFE that Big Bite
Yes,
just came out with.
yes,
Okay.
it's very similar to that. So it stays on like a big hook, not necessarily big, but like a heavier gauge straight shank, which are notorious for gumming. The hook point come through in a beaver. They have that just super do nothing gliding action.
You made that comment about Gambler not being a thing up here. I remember I got a bag of 100 count of the big worm, Gambler's big worm from Jason. Years ago, man, we wrecked them offshore after dark on it. And then
I'm not
ran
going to
out.
say they don't bite it up here. I'm just saying you don't see it up here.
Yeah,
Not
it's
often.
not popular.
Makes a good jig trailer too.
It's the same thing with bitters baits. You go down to Florida and bitters baits is like
Everywhere.
everywhere, and you come up here and it's like, you ever heard of bitters? What?
First time I ever went to Florida, I seen there was a guy had his boat wrapped in it. It was orange and white. It said Bitters Baits. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, and then by the end of the week, Shane and I had bags of
Yeah,
bitters
well, he knew
baits.
exactly what it was.
That and Jethro tungsten, we had it all.
Oh, Jethro.
I throw a big easy on watery some.
That's a really good bait.
Like,
Really good.
not some. Like, I've got one tied on when I go down there.
I remember the first day I figured out that bite. My brother and I. He might be watching right now, and he knows exactly what I'm going to bring up here. But you really probably wouldn't even believe how many fish we caught doing this. But we figured out that by burning it as fast as humanly possible. So almost more than half the bait's in the water practically. But color matters when you're doing that kind of stuff. A lot. Because I mean, I didn't know bass could move that fast until I moved down there. If they want it, I'm serious.
can't get 'em away
I'm
from it.
telling you, that's been a cliche I've heard my entire life talking to guys with fishing. Like, oh, if they want it bad enough, you can't get it away from them. It's true. I thought that was just more of like a, exaggeration.
You say you reeling it real fast. You fishing it on top?
Yeah.
Because I've done that. I fish it on top sometimes
Like,
down there.
like you're burning a horny toad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely a top water the way that I fish
Oh,
it.
yeah. And a lot of people don't know that. Everybody thinks it's a swim bait. I mean, I figured it out when Brandon and I were down there. I threw that thing out there, and I sped it up to do something. And I said, man, they'll bite that on top. I didn't catch anything on it that time, but I have since been to Okeechobee and have.
I'll tell you what, though. Comparing that bite to, throwing a horny toad around, brim bids or something up here, you miss... Yeah. Oh man, don't let the cat out of the bag.
He didn't care anymore. He's not
Yeah.
up here.
I know.
Yeah, I could just. Oh man, I could say so many funny jokes about that. But they don't miss it down there. Very rarely do you get one that just blows up on it like you do up here.
See, that's even at Watery. Sometimes the faster it is, the more hookup ratio you get.
Isn't that weird sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying in general. I don't know. Topwater fish up here. I don't know. They like to attack it more than just commit to it.
Yeah, it
but
seems like they want to kill it.
yeah.
Spotted
But down-
spotted bass for sure. If you're fishing for spots up here, I mean they'll knock the thing out of the water. They only open their mouth.
Yeah.
They just run into it.
down there, and I swear they can. When you're bomb casting baits like that, like I swear they can somehow either maybe it's a shadow. They know where it's gonna land because I've caught fish that bait hits the water and the exact millisecond the bait touches the water, blow up. Caught a lot doing that too.
So Ethan Barnes says, "What is a Big Easy?" So Big Easy
Grab
made by
one
a
out.
gambler.
Hey,
right?
grab one out of that bag.
We actually have some up here. I said we don't have a gambler. We got them up here.
Well, they're going away.
That's right. Christian just got them all. It's basically a jointed swim bait. Well, I can't say really jointed, but it's got two.
Can I
Yeah,
see that?
it's up there. I'll show you what it looks like. Trixie Shark. So this is like a paddle-tailed swim bait. Trixie Shark actually has like a
Hook tail.
hook tail
Has
to
two.
it, right? Yeah.
So you got two of them?
So this is more like a paddle-tail swim bait that's just.
There's something about it. I'm just gonna
there
be honest.
is.
There are competitors.
It looks way better in the water than it does out of the
Yeah,
water.
it looks like a dog turd. Right
It does.
There,
There's
but
something
in,
about
but
it.
in the
though.
water, it has lots of.
Is that like that cover scat by that Japanese company?
It doesn't make any sense, but
It looks a lot like a shiner. Right? The shape of it, and the shiner in Florida is most of them are. I'd say that's a typical size shiner.
yeah, I would agree. I don't know exactly what it imitates to a bass, at least the way we're talking about, just like
Yeah.
reeling it as fast as you possibly can on the surface. I would argue probably it would be a needlefish.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Could be.
I've caught a lot of bass that have needlefish in their throats.
Yep.
And usually when that bite is on, the needlefish are up in the shallower grass.
Yeah.
But whatever it is they think, I don't know, but they really like it. And there's other companies that make, and a lot of them are Florida-based companies that make like their version of the Big Easy.
It's like everybody copping the
It's
skinny
not
dipper
this-
up here.
Yeah, it's not the same. I'm telling you, it makes this. When you fish it like the way Shane and I are talking, it makes this like gurgling noise that does not sound sexy.
No,
it
it
sounds
doesn't.
so dumb, but there's something about I think it's the noise, whatever it is. But
It's like the Sure Slayer.
Yeah.
Well, when I was down there with him at Toho, they bit this so well that I ran out of them and started going back through them and rigging them sideways, and they were still biting.
no. So you know about the bite then. You've done this apparently.
You hook it on all four sides.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I ran out of skinny dippers, and they had those at the Big Toho Marina. I was like, I'm sure this has got to work. And I caught a bunch of jackfish on it at first. I was like, man, this is going to be terrible. And they were just, you catch a jackfish on one of those, it's just shredded.
Done.
And I ran out of them in like an hour. And Shane was like, why don't you rig that thing sideways? I was like, all right. And I hooked it on there, and literally, it did not matter.
Yep, they crush
just
it
smoke it.
one way or the other. Can we still claim our drawing prize? Yeah, that's why we got these.
That's the main reason Christian came over here today. So
What does it say?
his brother asked if they could still claim their drawing prize from the Santa giveaway from last year.
Ho ho ho!
And guess what we won? Big Easies.
Yeah.
The big sleazy. That's what Brandon nicknamed it.
Yeah, Big Sleazy. Ethan, no problem. It's not a. I'll say it's not a well-known thing up here around our area.
You could throw them, out deep or something like you do like a larger swim bait.
It doesn't quite swim
I'm trying
as
to remember.
well.
No.
I'm trying to remember what. Oh, Hawaii or no, Florida 5-0 is the color that Shane and I were throwing. Basically,
That-
watermelon
really good
red.
one.
is
That
what
and
it was.
ripe melon.
That's it, right melon.
Yeah, they. I don't know what kind of hook you throw yours on, Shane, but I like the Gamakatsu super line screw locks, the belly weighted ones. I think it's 3/16 in the 5/0 or 6/0.
6/0's what I throw in it.
But that screw lock hook is legit. I would not throw it on an EWG.
EWG.
Yeah, I would not. I said yeah.
You ever play with those? They're basically like plastic bullet weights. to help your baits come so that the noses of them don't get hung up in the grass and torn up, or do you?
So no, I've thought about it for certain applications, but I throw Big Easy on straight braid.
Okay.
I don't think it matters on a Big Easy. I've had no problems with needing something like that.
Okay.
But I can see other techniques needing something like that, especially if you're using like mono or fluoro for anything.
Shane would probably be down there throwing on mono.
No, I throw braid on it.
If you think about like different types of line and your knots, because braid is so limp, your tag ends like can just kind of fold over, right? But if you have fluorocarbon or mono, when you cut your tag ends, depending on what kind of knot you tied, the tag ends are going to be basically sticking straight out from the bait, and that is what gets in the grass and gives you problems.
Yeah.
So there's a couple pro tips you can look up on how to solve that, but that's one way.
What pound braid? You say you throw straight braid. So when I went down there, I was like, man, we need 85-pound braid and this and the other.
Yeah.
I was like, no, not at all. So
50.
50.
I like the 8-strand stuff.
8-strand. Okay. Why is that? It's just quieter through your rods?
Yeah, it's smoother. I don't like the noise it makes when you're winding something, and it's just. I'm not going to do my impression of it, but it's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard guys make the argument that like the, I don't know, 4-strand stuff, like saws through grass better. Sure, but
I mean, I'm with you.
You're fishing some really heavy stuff if you need that.
I throw 40. I throw 40 for the simple fact is you cast it further than you can 65, and you're not giving up anything. I mean,
It's rope.
Yeah, if you want to fish up in grass, just go get it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you wad it up in the grass, the fish is gonna lay there until you go over there and pick it up. He's not gonna fight you.
I flip with 50.
Do you really?
I'm a flipping stick.
I don't do that. I do 65 when I'm flipping.
What kind of rod reel setup you got? It's a high speed reel
For what?
for your Big Easy.
Big Easy. So I throw it on a 7.6 heavy, and it's like a 7.5 to 1 reel.
Okay. It's a high speed reel.
Yeah.
Right.
It depends on who you ask. To me, I won't go above that for for literally anything. But
Is that because it moves too fast, or why is that?
mainly because I'm not the world's strongest person.
So
I
want
lose a
leverage.
lot. I mean, the first time I bought an 8-to-1 reel, I, like an idiot, used it in a tournament on my jig rod.
You were out here with me.
And I whacked one, and I went to reel, and I was like, this freaking reel's locked up. And then I realized, no, I'm just weak.
Well,
Wow.
I've never figured that out.
Wow.
You see guys
we
like
went through this whole thing.
You see guys that do that, like that Revo. They come out with that rocket. It's 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
So, well, I'm gonna flip with that. Well, why? You're gonna strip the gears out of it. Is what you're gonna do, because there's no power there. It's
Yep.
made for speed. It's not built for winching things. And people don't. I mean,
Right now, I'm actually doing my heavy flipping, like my actual flipping stick with a 6.4 to 1.
Yep.
It's a little too slow, I think. I think a 7 to 1, like a true 7-1 to 1 is probably the best all around, but
See, it comes down to the line take up more
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah, we
True.
talk about that
So
all the time.
if you look at your line take up, you go from 24 inches to 27 inches to 32
One.
or
it's
31,
really just
whatever.
more of, I mean, man, you get like anything over 3 pounds that is in really heavy stuff, it's really not easy to pull them out.
When we were fishing together, he had that reel. Actually, got it here before from Adam. It was you won Angler of the Year in our club, and Adam sponsored us.
Yeah, that's right.
And he kept losing fish on his jig, and he's like, "Man, I swear John changed his jig hook." This I was like, "I'm not having any problems." He goes, "What do you think is going on?" He went to braid with a leader. I mean, went to all
Tried
kinds
it
of
all.
crap. Tried it all, and he was like, "Am I slacklining him?" I mean, you tease us, we're nerds. He was
I win that
complete
contest.
fun
No
out,
doubt.
right? You're talking about, do I cut the tail on my beaver thing? I mean, that's where he was with his, am I not putting enough pressure on him before? And literally, I told him, I was like, man, you just need to set the hook harder. And then a couple weeks later, he called me and was like, you were right.
I remember I colored up a speed trap with a Sharpie once. Looks super pro, by the way. But I sent him a picture of it, and he just responds, "You need help."
Let me tell you something.
I was like, probably so.
I've seen Christian in the boat with his Sharpie
Look what I did at work
doodling,
today.
doodling on his base. I'm like, thinking to myself, this kid needs help. He needs to go see somebody and get some medication.
The biggest bag I ever caught on Lake Norman came on a shad wrap that I colored with a Sharpie.
He did.
Caught 17 pounds on a shad wrap.
Dang.
I was there. It was in the glove.
He was like, "Let me see this thing." So I showed it to him, and he just was like, "I cannot believe that you just won a tournament on this stupid thing."
The best part of it was he told me, he was like, the biggest one I caught, he said, no lie, got wrapped up in a leaf, and it was torpedo, or however you say that,
Twirling through the water.
Back through the water like a helicopter lure, and it blew up on it and ate it.
That's almost 100% true. What really happened was that, like, I got caught on a leaf, and I'm, doing the wounded duck thing. So I just get like a little snap, and the crankbait broke free of the leaf and like kind of like dove a little bit, and like 2 inches of diving, it just comes up and just swallows it.
God, it was so cold then. The water temperature of
January.
what we were in was
40. It was 42
really
degrees where I caught him on that bait.
Yeah, we went up there 2 weeks later in the CBC, and we got some of those bites, but they broke our line that day.
Doesn't happen often to me. Breaking off fish.
That was
Knock
bad.
on
That was
wood, but
bad. That tournament, we
I
lost several.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been on here an hour and a half. Anybody have any questions for Florida? I mean, it kind of got quiet. I think everybody was listening because we've got several guys on here.
We
that
have
are,
dumped like 30 listeners since.
we've
kidding.
got several guys on here that are, I know for a fact, are headed to the Opens. So,
Technically, this is like public information, right? So
Yeah.
they can ask.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
actually,
you can
open
get,
stuff.
You can get all
yeah.
the information you want
For the opens.
For the
but
opens, yeah.
Anyone doing the tour, the
Yeah, we didn't talk about anything specific for the Hairshane or
Oh,
St.
trust
John.
me, I
anything
really
like
would
that.
like to ask a lot of questions, but I can't.
which
Send me the list.
to be honest with you, anything that we've really talked about is not specific to any particular lake. I mean, I will say this, and this is probably a good note to end on. Florida, like every lake in Florida, is a lot different than the other one. Like more so than you would think. Like when I think of tannic water, I call it true tannic water, which is like the cherry Coke or sweet tea look. It's really clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's just like a tint to it, right? But the Hairshane, even though by definition it is tannic, I don't consider that tannic water.
Looks like a mud hole.
Yeah, it looks like high rock kind of.
Yeah.
And that difference in water clarity changes the game on colors and the speed of baits, all kinds of stuff. Also, they definitely can see braid.
I agree with that
I will
100%.
fight anyone who disagrees with that. That
I
is
agree
a
with you
fact.
100%.
They can definitely see stray braid in Florida in shallower water. I'm not going to argue the pink stuff. I know.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
I'm just saying, like, if straight up the old
if you're
OG
flipping
green
2
braid-
foot,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. They're gonna see it.
yeah,
When
what I mean.
Yeah.
When I
Definitely.
drew Scroggins at Toho, he had 0 braid on any of his rods.
I know a lot of guys that flip, and they flip in Florida, and they fish 25 pound
That's what he was flipping with.
fluorocarbon.
That's what he had on his
The
bed
best-
fishing rod at that time. He wasn't punching, but he was bed fishing with 25-pound fluoro.
Because it doesn't cut into the reeds and the grass near as much.
I will say I did catch my limit with him on a lipless bait with braid on it. I didn't know what I was doing. I just threw it out there and yo-yoed it back like we do here. And
I've never done it with braid here.
I didn't do it with braid here, but I'm talking about yo-yoing it.
Yeah.
And I caught 3 to his 1, and finally he asked me, "What are you doing?" So I'm yo-yoing it, and he started yo-yoing it, and his got a lot bigger than mine. He had right at 30 that day, but Swindle was on. That's when the one Swindle won. He was catching like 34 or 35 a day. I mean, it was crazy. He had 2 shell beds that just
Have big ones on them.
it was ridiculous.
The probably number 1 overall angler on the Hairshane as far as like local stuff goes. You know who Vernon Kemp is?
Mm-hmm.
He's a hammer. As far as I know, he fishes with all mono
Really?
on just about everything. I'm not saying he doesn't have any. I don't know him like that, but
Yeah.
I've talked to him a couple times and seen some of his posts. Might have looked at his boat a couple times before takeoff. But
25-pound big
Corey
game.
Stone walkthrough.
I pulled the old Corey Stone. No, that's a you walkthrough.
Not me.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Not me, sir.
Be careful, David. I got his feelings hurt one time.
Nah.
I forget who we had on. It was Jesse. Jesse was talking about one of the old school flipping guys down there, and he basically, this is before tungsten and all that stuff, and he was talking about the plastic on his hook was really just a weed guard.
I think I watched that episode.
Yeah, because it was all about what you're talking about, reaction bite, getting it through there, and they just eat it.
Yeah.
Remember, I think it was Jesse that said that.
I honestly don't think bait matters as much. It's more of just action and fall rate. Like a color. When you're, I don't know, man. I like to flip really heavy weights. I've never done well down there flipping anything under like a 3/4 ounce. That's just me though.
I can't. I don't have anything to tell you there. Robert Lane says they can't tell the difference in braid and the grass you flipped into, and it's a reaction bite. I think it's just very like confirming everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
Difference in braid and the grass.
That depends a lot. Overall, I think you're right. I mean, if you land on one, yeah, you're definitely going to be probably right on that. But I think you'd be surprised at how many fish, at least Florida strain flipping, you will catch some on the initial fall, but you can get them to come over to it.
Can you?
Yeah. Now on the Hairshane has some color to the water, so yeah, you can get away with almost anything there. But true tannic water, you can literally see 4 to 6 feet down. Good luck flipping that.
When we first started going down there, we tried to prove everybody wrong that Florida bass don't mind wind and they don't mind dirty water, and we didn't do very well in it.
I like a little bit of a breeze, and I mean anything over 5 miles an hour, I don't consider a little breeze.
Yeah.
A little tiny bit, but yeah, they definitely don't like to play ball.
We found muddy water.
Wind's blowing.
And
really.
being from up here, Shane dug out a black blue chatterbait, and we stayed in it for hours, and I don't think we got a single bite.
We didn't get crap.
But I was just as excited to see it.
Biggest fish I've weighed in a tournament came flipping. Came on the initial fall with straight braid in Florida. It was a 9.2.
Did it shake the whole mat?
How did you know it was under a mat? It did, actually. It actually scared me because I didn't feel the bite. I just went to pick up on it, and like I can just feel that, like, just slow, just a slow. You can just tell like one is moving away with this right now. So I just kind of leaned into it. Didn't really fight that hard until I pulled, to the surface, and I, because you fished with me in a tournament and went crazy.
Hey, I was proud of you. I told you yesterday if you called giant on a 12-inch spot, I was going to make fun of you, and you never did. And he set the hook on first and goes, "This is a little one." And he flipped it in the boat, and I said, "Man, I'm so proud of you." He goes, "I've grown up, Brandon."
That's terrible.
He's actually seen what a giant looks like.
I've grown up a little bit.
When I fished the Open at Norman, I honestly was just hoping I was going to have 11 pounds on day one. I had like 13 and a quarter or whatever. I had terrible with weight when it comes to little spotted bass.
So we'll cover the Open. We'll get off here. We've been over almost an hour and 40 minutes. So do you think moving to Florida and coming back helped you in that Open? Because I watched you on live, and it looked like you did not move around a whole bunch at all.
So that was only because Shane could vouch for this because he fished it. But dude, the lake was fished so bad.
It was terrible.
It was so bad everywhere, and it was happening in the area I was fishing, which is Main Lake, on the around the whatever you call it, mouth of Mountain Creek area. And I have some theories on that, but I couldn't find anything else, honestly. Like, I got a couple bites, like fishing some brush, like way up the river, and I got some jig bites that I tried to do on the first day. But that's really all I had. Was I knew they were relatively active in there, and I saw them in practice with my eyes.
Saw them cruising.
There were several guys made the top 10 that was fishing that area.
Yeah, including you.
I didn't make.
I saw you in there once.
Yeah, I went through there a few times, but I didn't catch crap in there. I think you and Cole had already.
I saw him in there a couple times as well. But there was I don't even know the guy's name. He's got that black wrapped boat. I want to say.
Is that the marijuana leaf on it?
No, he wasn't in the top 10. Cole Sands, I think his name is. He made the top 10.
Yeah,
younger
boy
dude.
from Chickamauga.
I think he was in that area too because we were all over each other on the final day. But it's weird. I normally don't fish that end of the lake in a tournament. Usually I would stop there for some topwater fish and then go run up the river. But that's all I had. So I'm gonna maximize my fishing time.
Where'd you finish that tournament?
8th.
8th.
I choked on the final day. I lost 2. The only 2 bites I had that actually were, 3-pound fish. Both of them did not make it.
I was teasing you because the first time we went live, it said it was you, but it wasn't you, or it said it was somebody else.
Yeah, there was a Joey dude.
And
I
literally
saw
your
that.
first cast, you blew it up. You blew your reel up.
Yeah.
Hey, I got 1.3 million views right now on Facebook over blowing a reel up. So
Well, there was probably a million plus watching him live, and I just put new line on this last night. That was your first line online.
No. My first line was, I swear, what we were talking about.
Oh, wait a minute. That was you said Jeff Bezos gave
Yeah,
me $1 million.
I was talking about how I could convince Jeff Bezos to give me $1 million if I had like maybe an hour of his time.
it costs you $1 million to get an hour. of
You're
his time.
probably right. You're probably right. But that was literally the first thing that I said when they went live, and I thought that was funny.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up here and
Thanks for having me.
helping me, get back on the track. Hopefully, I can beat David the rest of the winter now.
Won't be hard to do.
I just needed to get stern coaching. Is all I needed.
We had a
Right,
lot
shit.
of fun before the tournament
Yeah.
in parking lot.
Yeah,
Everyone was
it
talking a
definitely-
lot of trash. It
All the
was
trash
so
that was talked
bad.
to me definitely made me focus a lot harder for that little 9-boat pickup.
Sometimes
on
you
Sunday.
need that.
It makes it more fun.
See,
And we're all joking,
I
obviously.
I barely even got to speak to you.
Yeah, well, you came kind of late.
I was a
Don't
little
worry,
behind the eight ball.
Ron and Corey made up. for
Yeah, they did all the trash talking for you. Don't
it.
worry.
Even Mike was in on it. Mike Stone was getting us.
Oh boy.
But anyways, thanks for coming. Merry Christmas, everybody. If we didn't say it last week, I wasn't here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We got a 1v1 rematch coming and a 1v1 rematch against
We got
Tom.
too many rematches.
Too many crybabies.
And
You guys seem to be more decisive, man, and just get it on with.
I'm gonna end it this week after
So who's-
inventory.
who's going to end it?
After y'all fish, who's the next? You got someone else up wanting to get the belt?
Tim Kelly
Tim
wants
Kelly.
a shot.
You want a shot at this? You want to come here and get a shot?
Yeah, I want a shot at the belt.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's what I,
You going to fish DVD on Lake Wiley?
well, that depends.
Oh no!
If he's got
he
the
comes,
belt.
if he comes up here, we're going somewhere else.
Golly.
I'm gonna throw
Wait
him a
minute,
real
is he
curveball.
bowing down to you on Lake Wiley?
Especially,
No, not at all.
especially. Oh my god!
Not at all.
Dave's like, on second thought, let's flip that coin.
No, I just have an idea. I want to see if your Florida training's panned out.
You want to go Santee?
Nope.
Watery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the problem is Watery's gonna have to be. We gotta do it quick, otherwise we won't have that option.
Gotcha.
Watery's gonna drop like 14 foot this year.
I remember July on Watery. I didn't get to make it, but yeah, 22 pounds, 21 pounds.
Where at Watery?
Yeah.
Yeah, club tournament. Yeah, it was like almost 23, I think. 22, like 22 something.
Pretty solid.
It's a good bag. All right, we done?
We're done.
Let's get out of here. I
Rusty.
gotta go home.
Yeah, I do too. You gotta go practice.
Yep.
Get some information. Make some phone calls.
I can do all that. At least I didn't have anybody put fish in my live well.
Oh, shit.
Let's go. Come on.
Rusty Hooks Live, where our hooks may be rusty, but our points are always sharp. Tune in next week for more of the same.
More shenanigans. All right. See you guys next week.